Welcome to 301 Banter. Today, we've got a 3-for-1. 3 Minnesota-born hockey players now skating at Miami University of Ohio, all joining us at the exact same time. We're talking about a freshman who lit it up at Orono, a senior leader and NCHC Sportsmanship Award winner, and a sophomore who's taken a unique path through Minnesota hockey to the college level. Bradley Walker put up ridiculous numbers with the Orono Spartans before stepping into his freshman season at Miami. Blake Mesenburg out of Benilde-St. Margaret's brings veteran experience with over 100 collegiate games played and was just recognized for his sportsmanship this past season. And Nick Mikan, who played at Breck, BSM, and Blaine before making a stop with the UST Tommies before finding a home at Miami University. We're diving into their Minnesota roots, the transition to college hockey, life in the NCHC, and what this past season was like at Miami as Miami continues to build. Bradley Walker, Blake Mesenburg, and Nick Mikan join 301 Banter right now.
Welcome to 301 Banter, a show having conversations with the finest athletes across Minnesota. We delve into the trials and tribulations of the athletes, coaches, and broadcasters that make the sports world in Minnesota tick. So whether you're a diehard sports fan or just curious to learn about different people, join us for discussions and behind-the-scenes glimpses into Minnesota's vibrant sports community.
All right, so we will start back at the beginning here. What initially drew you all to the sport of hockey in the first place? Nick, do you want to take it first?
Well, what drew me initially to the sport was obviously living in Minnesota, and I grew up in Edina. So really the only sport to play was hockey. And, you always wanted to go out and play pond hockey in the winters and as a kid, and you wanted to be good. So I just thought I got to play hockey. I got to start playing the actual sport and learning how to skate and everything.
Yeah. Bradley?
Yeah, I mean, I think similarly in Minnesota, it's obviously huge. And then for me, my brothers were a huge part in just pushing me. I have 2 older brothers, so both of them played hockey growing up, and I was just going to their games and watching pretty much as long as I can remember. So we were always a pretty big hockey family, and then just looking up to those 2 guys kind of brought me into the sport. And then, like Nick said, pond hockey, and then just the Minnesota community around hockey just made me fall in love with it. So.
Yeah, and Blake?
Yeah, I think they both said it. I mean, me personally, in my neighborhood, we had a neighborhood rink in the winter that all of the kids kind of played on. So I think that was a big draw for me when all of my neighborhood kids were doing it and just being in the community in general.
Yeah, for sure. So when you do look back at growing up, and you guys mentioned it a little bit too, with just playing pond hockey, but what are your favorite moments from playing hockey growing up in Minnesota and then high school hockey in Minnesota too, with that just being the state tournament just being massive and just youth hockey being massive in Minnesota?
I can start on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here,
My
well,
favorite memory. What's that, Blake?
Go ahead.
Yeah. My favorite memory was undoubtedly going to the state tournament growing up. Just with my childhood best buddies, being able to play at the XL. It was all our dreams. It was my senior year. It was pretty storybook. Unfortunately, we didn't win it all, but it was still just memories I'll cherish forever. And then as for youth, I think it was just the same thing, just playing with the same group of dudes all the way through with just the support of my community was awesome.
Yeah, I know that's one that your older brother Thomas can have bragging rights over because they actually did win the state tournament. So they got one. He's got one there on you.
Yeah, definitely super jealous of that. But that was actually one of my favorite memories too, was watching him win that as well. So
yeah. Blake or Nick, you guys, either one of you want to go next?
Go ahead, Nick.
My favorite memory. I mean, I don't know if I have a specific favorite memory. I never got to a chance to go to the XL Energy Center, but I think it was just going to the rink after class in high school every day and playing in front of the student section in Minnesota. I mean, they're always packing the rinks, and I think though that I mean nothing gets better than that. Favorite type of hockey is Minnesota high school. So, and obviously trying to get to the XL. I mean, I played at a lot of different high schools, and I mean it's always the same goal, and I just never got there, but I wish.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think in all of us kind of probably had similar youth hockey experiences. I mean, you love the weekend tournaments, the constant hockey, constant games, way more than high school or as you grow up. So that part's always great. I mean, some of my best buddies were all on my youth teams as I grew up, and it was the same team over and over again, but it was awesome. But from a high school standpoint, I had a little different experience. I went to Shattuck St. Mary's for 2 years, and then came back and went to Benilde-St. Margaret's for 2 more years. Kind of wanted the traditional Minnesota high school hockey player experience for those last 2 years, but it was great. And played in a tough section. I mean, we didn't have to be Delano to get to the state tournament. But the unique thing for Orono.
Yeah, BSM's
Enjoyed it all. I
traditional.
mean, it was great.
Pretty traditional high school BSM. Yeah, super traditional.
Yeah, so you guys you all went from high school then on to all different junior hockey leagues, the USHL, the NAL, the BCHL too, and all over the place. So what was that jump like from high school to the junior level?
I mean, that jump. I mean, I remember playing high school hockey, and I was a skilled guy and scoring goals, skating with the puck, and then you went to junior, and it was like I got to find a role to stay in the lineup every night. Whether that was in the MJHL, USHL, or BCHL, like I played in all different leagues, but it was really just kind of getting more gritty, playing more physical, and playing more hard. Try to build an identity to really stay in the lineup. That was my experience in junior, and trying to make it play even further. So I had to build an identity just to play in college too. So that was really my experience.
Yeah, I know. Noticed at least on a couple of your guys' elite prospect pages, the penalty minutes jumped up from the high school level to the to the junior level. So
Yeah, that was probably Walker. He's a dirty player.
Oh, I'm just getting ripped today. No, I would agree with a lot of what Nick said. I think the game changed a lot. And like for me, at least my first year, I just went straight to the Null South, super far from home. And I think I just grew a lot as a person as well as a player there. Learned a lot about myself. And then the next year went and played in Waterloo and had just an amazing experience. Like first class organization, took care of us. Great group of guys, great coaching staff. We ended up going on a pretty good run. I think I really like became the player that I am today because of them, and really like polished my game and had the opportunity to come to college, which was awesome. And I don't know, I think the junior experience is definitely difficult for a lot of people. But personally, I was pretty fortunate to play for two teams that gave me a shot to grow and develop and have a good time amidst all of that. So pretty fortunate for that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think they both touch on it a little too. I mean, I started out my career, I played after my junior and senior year of high school for the Omaha Lancers and got a few games in both those years. And then I jumped in my first year out of high school, and that was the year of COVID when everything shut down except the USHL. And I remember in training camp, we had about 45 guys in our locker room, guys coming down from the CHL all over the place. And I was sent down to the Null and found my spot in St. Cloud and loved it there and didn't want to leave. And actually, after about a few weeks in St. Cloud, the Omaha staff called me about coming back, and I said no, and because I loved it in St. Cloud, even though it was the lower league, but wanted to stay there because I knew I was going to play there. So, and luckily, I tested my luck and it worked out all right. So,
Yeah, yeah, you guys, no matter the path, it all ended up at Miami and all playing. Um, in Miami here, and obviously all different classes at this point too at there, and so you guys have played um, different amounts of time in the NCAA. When you look at Miami, are there any like traditions that you guys have as a team that you really enjoy that maybe can be talked about outside of the locker room and um, yeah.
It's a good one for Mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of turned over year by year for sure, but I think that one thing that has stood the test of time and one thing that's become more a part of this program. I mean, it's always been, but we lost it, I think, for a few years and it's starting to come back is what the brotherhood is and just what that means from the foundation of people that kind of built this program and the way this program operates. And like the one thing that we brought back for the first time this year was having all the alumni here when we were on campus in the fall. And that was an incredible experience, especially for how many new guys we had coming in this year that maybe didn't understand what this program was all about. So to get it and hear about what it's all about from the guys that have already gone through it was pretty special. So I think that's an incredible time. Even as a guy who's been here for 4 years, you learn a lot in that weekend when you get to hear from the alumni. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, and just looking at your guys' roster too, I know you guys have, um, a good mix of Americans and Canadians alike. And so I can only imagine what that, the locker room was like after the gold medal game at the Olympics. And I know just talking to some junior guys too, that there's guys playing up in Canada that are mostly, the rosters are mostly Canadian, and they were giving it back and forth. What was like that moment like for you guys as a
Yeah,
team?
it was pretty fun. I mean, we got a Swedish player on our team, and we were playing them. I don't know if it was quarter or semis, and I'm texting him throughout the game, and we're giving it to each other. And then we got a bunch of these OHL guys that think they're hot stuff, and it was pretty nice. It was pretty nice. They almost lost to the Czech, Canada, I think, and forget what game was. And yeah, it was fun. It was just banter back and forth in the locker room and in the lounge. We were watching the games. It was fun.
Yeah, that was definitely a big win for us, like, the amount of trash that was being talked for sure. But I think that's just another way that shows, like, how special, kinda like Mess touched on it, like, what we're building, just so many guys from different places, and we're able to all come together and just have a good time, which I think was a big part of our success this year, and hopefully, will continue to bring us success in the future, just our ability to get along and have a good time while obviously still putting in the work, so.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that it's funny that gold medal game actually lined up. So Saturday night was like the senior, I guess, weekend celebration, whatever, and went out after the game, had all the family and parents out and all the guys, fun time. Whatever. Night went long, woke up and went to Brick Street for the gold medal game, and it was a blast to be there at that game and watch the Canadians want to leave early when everyone's having a little Sunday fun day. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing that I feel like, even though you're rooting for different sides of that game, it can still bring a team together too, and going at it like that. Um, do you, and again, I know you guys have spent, you know, Blake, you've had more time at Miami than these other two. But do you guys have any favorite moments from on the ice at your time there?
I would say probably um, going to Ireland with the guys on and off the ice. That was probably my favorite moment at Miami so far. I mean, it was really special to go over there and hang out and play with these guys and win the tournament, obviously. And after the tournament and being out there after, I mean, it was probably my favorite moment so far.
Yeah, I would agree for sure. That's definitely up there for me. Just winning that tournament was awesome so early in the year. just built a lot of momentum for us. And then I think on the ice, we had a couple home games. I want to say St. Cloud State and Western, both games overtime wins at home against obviously great opponents, and the building was packed. I think it was like two of the most attended games, whatever, in the past however many years. So to see that kind of like life back in the program and then to get that result in front of that many people, I think was super special and just kind of gave me a taste of what this place has the potential to be on like a nightly basis.
Yeah, I think Bradley kind of touched on it too. I mean, early on we had some success in the year, and that included Ireland, and that was all great. But for a guy that's been here for 4 years and kind of experienced how we've performed in this league, I think that stretch of January when we really started to kind of prove ourselves in our conference and put together some sweeps even against good teams in our conference, that was like a pretty special stretch of time for me to actually kind of show that we're legit in this league.
Yeah, yeah, and you touched on it there a little bit too. You playing in it's definitely one of the two toughest conferences in college hockey. That the NCHC and the Big Ten, I think, are the two toughest. And any given year, one can pop up over the other, I think. And what is it like playing in that conference, knowing that you're basically every single night you're playing a conference opponent? It's going to be a, a tough battle.
I think the easiest way to put it is there's no nights off in our conference. I mean, even it's hard to say that everyone in our conference shouldn't be ranked inside the top 30 at least, but obviously it's not that easy to do that when we don't play every team in the country and don't get exposed to everyone. But if you see how our conference performs out of conference play, it's pretty obvious that we have great competition within our conference. So, it's every night you go into the rink, it's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think like pretty much every night just feels like a playoff game, just like with the atmospheres in the rinks too, and how important each game is. Like standings are tight pretty much the entire year from top to bottom. And I think like Mess touched on it a little bit, just the competition that you get every single night throughout the regular season is just like a proven formula to have success in the postseason, however many of the last champions have been from the NCHC. And I think that's a large part of why people this year came here and believed in this program, just the opportunity to play like a pro style conference that is best on best every night.
Yeah, those two touched it up pretty well. I mean, it's really physical and skilled league, and there's not really a lot of time out there in the offensive zone or anything. You get the puck and you got to move it pretty quick. A lot of these defensemen have really good sticks, and yeah, it's tough to play. It's tough to play, but it's also fun and rewarding, especially when you get the sweep.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at the four teams remaining, it's, it is two from the Big Ten and two from the NCHC. And so yeah.
Do you have any picks for us, Charlie? What do you think? What are your predictions?
Well, I grew up a UMD fan, so I hate all four teams. UMD fan in Minnesota, so I'm like, I hate all four teams remaining, and
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah. So, yeah, when you guys do look at your careers up to this point, what advice do you have for players that are looking to play past the high school level?
It's not going to be pretty. In most cases, I would say there's very few people that are fortunate enough to get exactly what they want. And for a guy growing up in Minnesota, maybe that's being a true freshman at the Minnesota Gophers. But some people, not everyone wants that, but I would say that's a common theme among a guy that grows up in Minnesota. But yeah, to put it bluntly, it's not going to be pretty, and it's like you got to be able to show up every day and kind of live it. And that means living it 24/7 if you really want to make it at this level, especially with where the environment of college hockey is headed. And it's essentially pro hockey because guys are jumping from school to school, year to year, and looking for a paycheck. So,
I would just say it's a dream, but you gotta love the process, and every day you gotta love coming to the rink. And if you don't like that, then it's probably not gonna work out. Yeah, you gotta play the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like one thing I'd say is just probably betting on yourself is probably the only way you can do it in this era of college hockey, like Mess touched on and Mike's did too. Just being able to trust the process and trying to find somewhere where you're wanted more than where you think you should go, I think is another thing that's important. Giving yourself the chance to play and progress, and like being from a small school, it wasn't always like a sure thing for me to go on and play. And I just think I stuck with it. Fortunately, I had some people around me that believed in me and then instilled confidence in me to just continue to grow. And like I said, just bet on myself and was fortunate enough to be able to continue to play.
Yeah, you gotta really focus on your development too. Just like there's no point to go. Everyone wants to go play in the USHL, but if you're just gonna sit in the stands, I mean, go down lower. It's not the end of the world, and really develop and maybe stay an extra year in junior too. Like, don't rush into anything, and just really focus on developing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's not everyone's path is the same, and it's not all linear too. So it can, but that will actually do it for us today. Thank you guys for taking the time.
awesome. Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Massive thank you to Bradley, Blake, and Nick for joining us on 301 Banter to talk about their hockey careers today. We wish them the best of luck going forward in their careers and beyond. Thank you for sitting down and watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like down below and comment who you want to see next on 301 Banter. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, as well as Minnesota sports weekly news. We'll see you next time on 301 Banter. Peace.